introduce the gang, but you have to participate in our show today by answering our very simple trivia question. The question is, how many medals did Kenya win at the Africa Athletics Championships? Let me repeat it for you. How many medals in total did Kenya win at the Africa Athletics Championships? At Bernard_sports, at J Wakabi, at Kchege_sports. That's where our handles are. Let's get into it now. Let me introduce you to the good boys. They are no longer bad boys. They are no longer the gang. They are just the team. And we start with Ken Shege here. How are you, Ken?
Very well, Bernard.
How was your week?
My week was interesting. You see, now Premier League, there's no much football to be seen.
All right.
So I took time to watch the Nations League.
Okay.
And I happened to stumble on England that lost 4-0 to Hungary.
Oh, that has brought a lot of problems.
And I thought to myself, England has played 4 games. They've only scored 1 goal, which is a penalty.
Yes.
For Harry Kane. Sure. And they're getting ready to go to the World Cup. Okay. They have
that has caused a lot of problems in England. I tell you, everybody's calling for the sacking of the coach. They want Southgate out and everything else. Big news there.
Exactly.
All right. What worked for you, James Wakabi?
Hi, Bernard. Something that has just come into the inbox, and it's from Kogalo.
Right now?
Yes, and it's an apology
for
over the statements of the Secretary General over the monies that they were saying were not there, and they say we apologize to the officer involved.
All right,
the monies were paid.
Big question is the money there?
The monies, we confirm the monies have. The chairman had been alerted that the money.
The part that we will take most is the part that the money is there. The apology we'll think about.
The apologies don't come easily from Kogalo.
I'm telling you. No, if you know Kogalo and the treasurer and the chairman and whoever is talking, it depends on who's saying it. Is it the chairman? Is it the chairman?
Or whoever signed it? I can tell you now. Yes.
It's the chairman himself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Dated 16th June 2022.
Then somebody's in trouble. If the chairman is apologizing on behalf of the club, there's someone who's in trouble. But that's the kind of trouble we like to look at in Scoreboard. But let's start at the beginning with, murky waters. A lot of trouble now in swimming. We have gotten information that 3 members of the interim management committee have resigned the working group. Now, these are 3 tough members of the swimming management committee working group have resigned. What is it saying? And there's a letter that came from FINA as well that is saying, you know what, we might have to put you on a normalization committee or something of that sort. James?
First of all, it says that this show works.
Okay, yes, well, because we first broke the news.
Because we sat here and we spoke about it and we said, you know what, this is tough.
Yes.
Something needs to be done. So something is being done. The fact that Stanley, Kenneth and Elijah have both left.
Yes.
The fact that FINA
you make it sound like Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego.
Stanley Kaberu, Kenneth Karani, and Elijah Kimani.
And you must say that one of them, was he not
the head
chairman?
of the secretariat?
The secretariat.
Absolutely.
He's like, you know what? Let's leave this. I just hope we are moving forward, because as it is, Kenyan swimmers can only compete as neutrals.
Yes, they cannot compete under the banner of the Kenyan.
We are literally banned.
Yes.
We are banned but not banned. It's the same way like in football, like our players can sign for other teams but you cannot play outside.
Absolutely.
Something like that. So I just hope this is the start, because we listened to swimming on this show and we were left more confused than at the start.
Even now, it is still more confusing. These letters have been written to the person who's supposed to be the head of the management committee, I think, but who also happens to be in the Sports Disputes Tribunal. And I don't know, FINA has written a letter to the Sports Dispute Tribunal, to him, telling him we cannot continue like this.
And you see, the head of the Sports Tribunal also heads the sort of a normalization committee for FINA. And he, as you remember when we had our show here, in fact, it ended up that the official whom we had was also banned. We didn't know that before we brought him on air.
No, you're confusing it further. So what's going on now?
He lost his. He was part of the Rio.
He was here in studio.
Yes, he was part of the whole Rio thing.
Yeah. So and all this is because of elections.
That's the one thing they're decrying, a lack of democracy and a lack of elections. And the question is, why have elections not been held for swimming? What seems to be the problem?
Well, it's a normal thing. Officials who are there don't want to cede. They realize they are going to lose if we call
but
an election.
That's not the way it works. I mean, we're going to have an election in Kenya now. You can't say it's the officials who are in the government who are saying we cannot have elections.
I think what we need to do is just listen to the sports registrar. Now, I was lucky this afternoon and I listened to her speak. And she laid down the law. And I tell you what, all these things we keep going around like this, they are spelled out clearly. in the Sports Act.
About aligning
what you should
yourself to the
do,
Sports
what
Act.
you need to do, how you need to... Like she said, listen, you guys keep getting half-truths. This is what the law says. It says this, it says this, it says this, including this whole argument we have of we only answerable to FIFA. She explained it and said, you have guidelines from international bodies, but the Kenyan law reigns supreme.
Absolutely. I think if we looked at it the other time, most of it spells, issues of integrity among the officials. You must be cleared by KRA. You must have a PIN certificate. You must produce ABCDEF. It's more on integrity issues on the officials themselves. And then, of course, there has to be elections as well. That's another thing I remember very clearly on that.
It's very clear. And FINA has given Kenya 2 opportunities to hold elections, give them deadlines on both occasions, and that hasn't happened. In March is when the SDT reconstituted this committee, which is supposed to be a normalization committee.
Now, this is already now going out of mess. A letter that we have seen mentions a particular individual who apparently has been sending swimmers out, and it says that can no longer happen.
You know what I think we should do? How many elections have we had this year? We've had hockey, we've had cricket.
It was done.
Football could
maybe,
not happen. Swimming may or may not happen.
Okay.
I think we should start a counter on this show.
All right.
How many sports associations do their elections by the end of the year?
Okay.
We are on 4.
All right. But there's a process. It comes from...
That's what I'm saying. We just want
transition, normalization, and then something else committee. I don't know what that one is called in between, and then elections.
But now
it's a 3-part.
If you get to the transition and that's also banned, now you have a big problem.
Ken, we're trying to move on with the show now. Let's move. If you get us there again, we have to leave it there. But we sincerely hope that swimming will be sorted out. But now FINA is getting into it. They say they might have to put a normalization committee in there. Hopefully, that problem will be solved as well. Let's get out of those waters and go into happier waters. Tusker FC again winning the Kenyan Premier League title, but in what fashion this time round? That's what we must talk about. Tied with the Homeboys on 63 points, but then Homeboys don't kick any ball, and so they lose it. Now, Robert Matano wins his 4th Premier League title. Now, that's something we must really congratulate him for. With Sofapaka once and then 3 times with Tusker. Tusker now becomes the 2nd most successful club in Kenyan football history. Now, that's a big achievement, isn't it?
It is a big achievement for Tusker, defending their title and knowing how this season, how far they have come. At some point, I think Homeboys were ahead by 8-9 points. And, Tusker just came through the grind.
In fact, Tusker, when they started the season, were actually in the relegation zone.
Yes,
in fact, they lost the first, I think they lost the 2nd game as well. Up to the 3rd game, they have not registered a win.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But they came back to win, and for some bad luck or whatever it is, Homeboys just couldn't win their games anymore. And it went to the wire, to the last game.
To the very last game.
Championship DNA.
Yeah.
When I met Patrick Matasi in January for Soya.
Who's that? The goalkeeper.
The Tusker FC goalkeeper.
Yes,
he told me, listen, the first thing I'm going to do is win the Golden Glove this season. He was like, don't worry. I am going to win it because I am going to keep clean sheets. This is Tusker. We know what to do. This was in January. And they were nowhere near the top. But he was like, listen, we know how it's done. And over the last 1 month...
This he confided to you?
Yeah, he said, look, my first goal is to win the Golden Glove, and for me to win that, we have to win the league. And he was like, don't worry, we have started slowly.
So he kept 18 clean sheets after he told you
out of 34
yes.
games. That's more than half the games.
Out of 24?
Yes. Like if you think the league has 34, the league has 17,
you're counting all
so
of
it's
them.
like 34, 35, 34 games.
Yes.
He did more than half.
But now, this mathematics, I mean, Tusker won it with a plus 19 goal difference. That's massive, even if it's tying on points. Yes. Why does Homeboys think they should have won it otherwise in terms of...
So this is the thing, Bernard. You have 2 games to go. Homeboys feel they can easily win the 2 games. They can improve on their goal tally. The first match against Talanta FC, a day before the match, Talanta players are on strike. So Talanta say, we are not showing up. Okay. So you get a walkover, 2 goals, 3 points.
And they were very happy at that time.
At that point, they were very happy. Then 3 days later, Talanta has a game against Gor Mahia, and they show up all comfortable and nice. They play, they lose, but yes, they play. And Homeboys goes, hey, wait a minute. You guys couldn't come and show up.
No, but they lost anyway, so that wouldn't have counted even for them, I mean,
Now, the worst to rub the entire salt into the wound, their last match, and the opponents, Kariobangi Sharks, decide they are not going to Kakamega.
Now, we had a talk here. You mentioned those teams. You became conspiracy theorists. Now this conspiracy is coming. I actually think the two of you have something to do with Kariobangi Sharks not traveling to Homeboys.
All I said was their last game is against Kariobangi Sharks.
Yes,
and it's ironical in a way
yeah,
when
but
you look
cast
at it.
aspersions. You cast aspersions.
And Sharks released a training schedule for the week, and it had things to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Conspiracies. All right.
But if you think about it, on a serious note, it's really sad that teams can give away games and get away with it, because how can you punish them? They've only given up one game. They've given away another game. So a team doesn't play. 2 games weren't played on the final day of the season. Teams gave them away.
But that's very unsportsmanlike.
We can talk about this until the cows come home, and I think we just have to give it